This is the 5th companion video for the Research Methods, Statistics, and Application textbooks. In this video, we will continue to talk about how to create a scale score, and we will focus on step 2, checking the reliability of your scale. The SPSS tutorial 4 dealt with the first step, making sure that all the items are coded in the same direction. This video will focus on the second step, checking that the scale has good internal consistency. For this tutorial, we're going to use data from our Research Methods questionnaire. This questionnaire had 4 items that assessed attitudes toward research methods. In the tutorial number 4, we talked about recoding, and this data set has the second question, afraid, recoded. In order to calculate Cronbach's alpha, which is a type of reliability analysis that assesses the internal consistency of the scale, we're going to go to Analyze, Scale, Reliability Analysis, and then we're going to select all the items that we expect will make up this scale. Now this is important. We include any items that have never been recoded, such as the first question, the third question, and the fourth question. But then we include the recoded item, not the original. So we still have 4 items in our scale, but we have replaced the recoded with the original. Then we make sure that alpha is selected to calculate Cronbach's alpha, and then click on Statistics. For statistics, select Scale and Scale if item deleted. Then click Continue, and then OK. And then we'll see the output. This first table simply tells us how many cases we analyzed. You'll see here that we have an N of 10. This is a very small sample size, so typically with real data sets, you would not have such a small sample size, and you would not be running reliability analyses on such a small sample. However, this data set is just for practice. The next table shows us how many items are in our scale and what our Cronbach's alpha is. This tells us the reliability of these 4 items, how much these items hang together. 0.762, or rounded to 0.76, is a very good reliability. You typically want an alpha of 0.70 or above. This next table shows us what our Cronbach's alpha coefficient would be if we chose to omit an item from the scale. You'll notice the first item, research methods, is a good learning experience. The alpha would actually decrease to 0.68 if we were to omit that item. The same is true for the questions I look forward to research methods and the question about being afraid of research methods. In all those cases, deleting that item or omitting that item from our scale would decrease the alpha. That suggests that these items are critical to the internal consistency or the reliability of our scale. However, the question, I love research methods, the alpha would actually increase if we omitted it. It would increase from 0.76, the current alpha, to 0.88. Now, whether or not we omit that item depends on a couple factors. If this had been a published scale that had already been tested in the research literature, we may not want to omit that item so that our scale is consistent with other published research. And considering that our 0.76 alpha is already pretty good, there wouldn't be any harm in leaving it as is. However, if this was a scale that we were creating for our research study, and in this case, this is in fact a scale that we made up just for our example, it might make sense to omit that item in order to increase the alpha. Let's look at another example. Imagine that I have data about self-esteem based on this 10-item questionnaire. I enter my data into SPSS, and then I run my reliability analysis. But notice that my alpha looks very strange. Negative 1.71. That is extremely low. And even SPSS is telling me something went wrong. When you get an alpha that is oddly low, such as this, likely you made a mistake in your coding. And in fact, when I look at how my original items were worded, I'll notice that there are 5 items here that actually need to be recoded. For review, see the Recode Review tutorial. When I look at SPSS, I actually have already recoded these items. So these are the 5 that needed to be recoded, but when I analyzed my reliability analysis, I only included the original items. So I need to replace the original items with the recoded ones. So I need question 1, question 2, question 3R, question 4, question 5R, question 6, question 7, question 8, 9, and 10R. And this should give me a more reasonable alpha coefficient. Let's see if that fixed the problem. Yes, in fact, we have a very good alpha here. You'll notice 0.848 with 10 items and 82 participants. And you'll notice that maybe if I got rid of question 9, if I omitted that, my alpha would be raised. But this is actually an established scale, so I would not want to omit that item. I would want to include all 10 items when I created my scale score. In the next video, I'll show you how to compute a scale score.